Friday's reading from Jesus Calling is really beautiful. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Before time began, I knew you. For years, you swim around in a sea of meaninglessness, searching for love, hoping for hope. All that time, I was pursuing you, aching to embrace you in my compassionate arms. When time was right, I revealed myself to you. I lifted you out of that sea of despair and set you down on a firm foundation. Sometimes you felt naked, exposed to the revealing light of my presence. I wrapped an ermine robe around you, my robe of righteousness. I sang you a love song, whose beginning and end are veiled in eternity. I infused meaning into your mind and harmony into your heart. Join me in singing my song. Together, we will draw others out of darkness into my marvelous light. There are 3 scriptures that go with today's reading. The Lord appeared to us in the past, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with loving kindness. That's from Jeremiah 31:3. The second, I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and a bride adorn herself with her jewels. That's Isaiah 61:10. And the third, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. That's 1 Peter 2:9. This is such a beautiful reading, and you could really spend a lot of time unpacking it. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do during some part of it this morning, and the rest during some portion of the day, because it really is so absolutely beautiful. I have loved you with an everlasting love. There is no one that loves us like our God. No one. No one can love us like him, because he is the one and only, and all love comes from him. And so every bit of love that we have and that we feel for others, it all stems from him. But he is the one who created it, and he created us. So there is no one who can love us as deeply and widely and as unfathomably as God can. And when it goes on to before time began, I knew you, I of course think of Psalm 139, which is one of my absolute favorite Psalms. You have searched me, you know me from afar. No matter where I go, I can go to the highest of the heavens or to the depths of the sea, or to Shiloh, and you will be there with me, because he's all encompassing. And we can't hide from him. No matter what, he is with us always. He formed us, he knew us, he created us into being. And if I let him, he will create me into the woman that he created me to be. But that's only if I allow that, because we have free will, right? And that means that I have to continue to seek him. I have to continue to build an intimate relationship with him in order that I might become that which I've been created to be. It's just, so this reading is so packed with so many things, and it leads me to other things, to other scripture, to pulling out my Bible, I have this beautiful book of Psalms, and of course Psalm 139 is one of my absolute favorites. I have so many of them. I love the Psalms. It is just so absolutely beautiful. I sang you a love song whose beginning and end are veiled in eternity. It's just so, so beautiful. Join me in singing my song. Together we will draw others out of darkness into marvelous light. And I believe that brings us to evangelization. Together we will draw others out of darkness into my marvelous light. You know, it says, when the time was right, I revealed myself to you. I lifted you out of that sea of despair and set you down on a firm foundation. I go back. I mean, I've always had the Lord in my life, but I don't think I really knew him. I didn't know him until I went to a retreat, and it's not really a retreat. It was a short course in Christianity. It's called the Cursillo, and that was, 18, 19 years ago. It'll be 18 years ago, actually, in November. And that's where I really got to know Jesus. That's when I began a deep, personal, and intimate relationship with him that has brought me to where I am today. And I continue to grow, and I continue to slide here, there, and everywhere. But I continue to keep drawing back to him who sets my path straight, who helps lead me in the way of that everlasting light. And I pray who I work together with, or really, it's all through him because it doesn't come from me, but to help others see his marvelous light, see the great work that he has done. Again, this goes to all kinds of other scripture. It reminds me of the Bible, of scriptures, that things that I've absorbed over these years, that it just brings me back to, that I want to go back and unpack and read and kind of spend some time with. There's a way of praying called Lectio Divina, where you really take in the scripture. It's not doing what I'm doing now and sharing this with you. It's like spending time with the word. It's contemplating it in a deep, deep way. It's also using all of your senses. It's reading it, which is that's why for me, I get so much more when I read out loud. Because then I'm hearing it as well. If I light a candle or incense, it really is a way of really diving into scripture. It's so beautiful. There is a book, actually, I have it right here, not all my little books, but this one is called Too Deep for Words. And the Too Deep for Words is Rediscovering Lectio Divina with 500 scripture texts for prayer. It's by Thelma Hall. And it is really, it's a great book. I've had it for years. I got it, I think, when I lived my Cursillo all those years ago. And it's amazing to be able to spend time with scripture in that way. But today, to start this day, before I move on to other things and then draw back to him in different forms of prayer throughout the day, this reading is just a beautiful way to start the day. It brings me back. It reminds me of the one who loves me beyond all my comprehension. That there is nothing that I can do that will take me out of his reach. Only by my own power and what is within me may I draw away, but I will never be away from him if I seek him, when I seek him. He is always there. He is always there. But he's a loving God. He's not a pushy God. He's not going to come barreling into my life. Although sometimes I think he gives me a little bip on the head and says, hey, wake up. What are you doing? Those little reminders when I'm open, right? When my heart is open to hear and see and know and acknowledge, that's when I see things that I might not have otherwise seen. And that's a beautiful thing. So, my friends, I pray that you have, again, Jesus Calling. It is absolutely one of my favorites. And I love that this is the big print, and it has the scripture written right into it, where some of them are smaller and they don't have the scripture. At my age now, I need the big print, and I love having the scripture right here, so I don't have to go back and forth. But I pray that you have a blessed and a beautiful day. It's a Friday. I pray that, whatever it is that you face today, those challenges, those obstacles, anything that comes in your path, I pray that it's an opportunity for personal growth and for development. I pray that it is a way to draw you closer and closer to Jesus, into that intimate union and relationship with him that will provide everything that you need. And I love you. Take care, guys. Bye.